Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber Ethan, I am playing Grixis Control. I played Grixis Control a couple weeks ago on the channel, and it was right in the pocket where Lord of the Rings was legal, but we hadn't quite updated all our decks yet, and it did not go well. I gotta say, the Baleful Strix core of the deck did not line up well against Orcish Bowmasters, a card that I was not playing myself at the time. But now, let's right all of those wrongs of the past. Grixis Control, just removal, counterspells, discard, and then figure out some way to win. That's the game plan. And the spice here is, of course, Orcish Bowmasters, which is a super annoying card. That's also a removal spell. That's also a win con, which is everything that this deck wants. Unfortunately, Baleful Strix is still one of the best things that a Grixis core control deck can do. It doesn't line up well against Bowmasters, but we have a bunch of answers to that. We've got Fatal Push, Spell Snare, Stern Scolding, Lightning Bolt, and our own Bowmasters. That's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 answers to that, plus Force of Will if we're feeling really frisky, 16, Sheoldred's Edict, naming non-token, 18. We got 18 answers to an Orcish Bowmaster, and hopefully Baleful Strix will have a chance to thrive here. And at the top end, this is kind of a new thing. The One Ring has basically obsoleted all other 4-mana card advantage options. Sorin the Mirthless, Jace the Mind Sculptor. We've played a bunch of stuff in this spot before, and the One Ring is just kind of better than all of it. And the One Ring is particularly messed up with Sheoldred the Apocalypse. The drawback of the One Ring is that you lose, or you take 1 damage in your upkeep for each card encounter on it, which roughly translates to how many cards you've drawn. And Sheoldred draws you 2, or gains you 2 life every time you draw a card. Tapping the One Ring with Sheoldred in play feels like cheating. And that's the endgame we're looking for here. All of this is supported by the usual Grixis stuff, the Brainstorm Ponder, Hymn to Turok, Thoughtseize, Hitotsugu Consumes All, down to 1. This was a card at some point in history that really brought the Grixis deck back out of retirement, basically. And it's down to 1 copy. Still pretty good, but not the 4 of that we were playing with last year. I'm actually going to add a Cling to Dust to the deck right now, live as we're doing this. I'm going to shave a Baleful Strix to make room for that. Uro is just such a problem for Grixis decks and graveyard recursion in general, and this is a nice little main deck way to respect the graveyard while just playing a cantrip otherwise. I'm here for Cling to Dust. Gonna make room for that one. Out of the sideboard, we have a ton of graveyard hate, Dauthi Voidwalkers, Surgical Extractions, and then a bunch of artifact hate for those sort of decks. Pyroblast, Hydroblast, Dress Down, as you'd expect in a blue sideboard. One thing I'm concerned about that I'm deciding if I need to address or not is this deck is kind of soft to Karakas. If Sheoldred is our only top end, and we have the One Ring as well, but that doesn't win the game, it just draws cards. And we have 1 Vessel of the All-Consuming, and outside of that, it's Bowmaster and Baleful Strix Beatdown, which has historically been the win condition for Grixis. It's not like this is unheard of. But I'm not going to play a Pithing Needle just for Karakas. I'm not going to put a Sinkhole in the deck. You could play Blood Moon, Ruination, or Back to Basics in this sideboard. The mana base could support any of them. There are enough basics for it. Or you could just ignore that and win with the other cards. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. We'll see if Karakas ends up being a giant problem in the league. But I'm not going to address it specifically right now. Though I have sort of intrigued myself with the idea of Blood Moon, because lands is something I've been running into lately in the Moto queues. It's kind of having a moment here, and we're really bad against that. Plague Engineer is one of the best answers to a Bowmaster. It's also solid against Delver decks, and I haven't seen Elves since Bowmaster was printed. But I do have Cast in the Fire, which Also deals with X1 creatures. Okay. I'm going to cut one of the Plague Engineers for a Blood Moon. That also kind of answers Caracas. It would have to be a pretty specific matchup if I bring in Blood Moon against a Caracas deck, but like 4-color Uro, for sure, it would come in. Probably not bringing it against Jeskai Control with 5 to 8 basics just for Caracas. But at least now we've acknowledged it in the deck. That's the end of my meddling and fiddling. Let's go play some Grixis Control. I'm on the play in round 1, and you know me, Island Ponder. I am going to keep this. Kind of an awkward spread of mana, but that's what happens when you put 5 basics in your 3-color deck. I'm going to fetch an Underground Sea to cast this Ponder off of and give myself a chance to Hymn to Tarok next turn. Okay. Good chance to Hymn to Tarok. Even get to pad up with a Force of Will. A little worried about Wasteland. But outside of that, this hand looks pretty good. Playing against Mr. Skittles, by the way, who, if memory serves, has sent several decks into this channel before. If this is the same Mr. Skittles. How many could there be? Veteran Explorer, Yucko. Yeah, usually the best way to deal with Veteran Explorer decks is just don't let them have this card. And fetching, there is a Badlands. Do I want that? No, there's plenty of red in my hand. I'm just going to get another Underground Sea and send him to Tarok upstairs. We're all in on the One Ring here. Blam, hit Reanimate and Swamp. Well, the fact that they're a Reanimate deck, I'm glad we hit what we did and not something worth reanimating. Dryad Arbor's in play now. Generally not a card you want to just put into play from your hand. Uh-oh, Veteran Explorer's in. What do you got for me, deck? Fatal Push. Well, I'm going to push the Dryad Arbor and cross my fingers that we get to my next turn with the One Ring still in my hand. They'd have to come up with a Black Source and a Cabal Therapy to rip me apart with Veteran Explorer here. Okay, they're coming in. They did not play a Black Source, and it's time for One Ring to rule them all. Bang. I have protection from everything. There's no reason to draw a card right away. There's no 0 mana effects in my deck I'd be interested in. I guess there's Force of Will, but I can see if they put something scary on the stack first. They have access to black now. But if there's only one target for Cabal Therapy, and it's not me, if that's the enabler, they're going to have to wait a turn. If they have Orcish Bowmasters, the pings have to go somewhere, and they can't go to me right now. They'd have to kill their Explorer. Wrist the Hunger Tide. I'll draw a card in response to this, just in case I want to force it. Okay, no luck there. Ooh, they're sacrificing their Veteran Explorer. They have to destroy Grist. There's only one target here. Okay, using Grist as a 3-mana sack outlet, that's ugly. I'm not saying it's wrong. I don't know what their hand needs to do, but it doesn't look good. Yeah, the way Grist is templated, where the sacrifice is, or the ability is contingent on having sacrificed a creature. If this says -2, sacrifice a creature to destroy target creature, I think you could target Veteran Explorer and then sack Veteran Explorer, but the way that it works, by the time this happens, there's only one target in play, and it's the Grist itself. Just grab a swamp and an island here, and laugh our way to the bank. Being a control deck with the One Ring in play, and your opponent spending 2 cards to ramp you, feel pretty good about this situation. I can even Bowmaster in the end step if I want to, but they're also representing Bowmaster. I think I want to save my Bowmaster to pick off theirs after I tap the One Ring, which I'm just going to do immediately. Thoughtseize, let's go. Let's have a look. What are we ramping into over there? Minsc and Boo and Primeval Titan. Those are both pretty scary. I'm going to take the Prime Time. I can answer Minsc and Boo with Lightning Bolt and Orcish Bowmasters. Yeah, I don't really need to brainstorm here. What I need to do is find Sheoldred before the ring kills me. That's what's left to do in this game. Minsc and Boo resolves. It comes with its own trigger, conveniently, which creates a window to Lightning Bolt this thing. And then it makes a 1/1, which does not line up well against Orcish Bowmasters. And I'm still sitting on a bunch of card selection and removal in my hand. Gonna master this hamster. This feels really good. This is just Grixis firing on all cylinders. Good removal, good discard, good counter spells, and then card advantage engine. Love it. Nice. They don't want to try to whack-a-mole as the ring starts to draw 3, then 4 cards, etc. I'll find the Sheoldred eventually. Playing against Jun Nikvit with Primeval Titan. I like Dothy Voidwalker. That turns off Veteran Explorer shenanigans. I don't think I want Blood Moon or Cast into the Fire. Hydroblast hits Minskenboo. I don't think I want Hidetsugu Consumes All for this matchup. Having to kill their Veteran Explorer, not ideal. Dress Down could stuff a prime time. Plague Engineer on Hamster is a proactive way to address a Minskenboo if I don't have a better answer for that. Problem is I just like all the cards in my deck. Stern Scolding hits basically everything. Spell Snare. Maybe Spell Snare isn't going to line up great. This deck tends to have a bunch of 1-drops and then a bunch of 3+ drops. 2 is generally the blank spot on their curve. And Lightning Bolt hits Planeswalkers. Oh, is Fatal Push better? Or worse? Lightning Bolt can hit Planeswalkers, Fatal Push can't, and I generally am not trying to kill their creatures unless they put Sheoldred into play. Trying to think of what. Like, Fatal Push doesn't kill Primeval Titan, but neither does Lightning Bolt. 2 Lightning Bolts do kill Primetime, though, and 2 Fatal Pushes don't. It's like exactly Sheoldred in the middle, where Fatal Push is good and Lightning Bolt's bad. Alright, yeah, I think I like where we are. Going in. 3 Force of Wills and a 1 ring. Is this a game plan? Almost. I actually am going to keep this. Because if they have the audacity of trying to Nikvit, I'm going to turn to a 1 ring with Force backup. Zenith for Dryad Arbor. It is. That's fine. Ponder. Good stuff. Yeah, I'll cast that card. I like that one. Island Ponder. Retroactively keep. Hey, I'm going to put Stern Scolding in my hand. There's a land under it. This gives me Force blue card if I need to protect my ring. And I think I will force a Thoughtseize. Cabal Therapy is really annoying because naming Force of Will to kind of clear the launch pad for the therapy would just randomly 3-for-1 me. Disgusting. Basic Swamp. Collector Oof. That messes up my ring. I think I let this resolve though. Ring's a ways away and my deck is full of removal. Shame I can't scold that thing. Luda Delta into play and pass the turn. Hardcast Grief. Guess what that thing's toughness is? Boom. That's a big Scolding. I like that one a lot. Scolding countering 2 of the 5 incarnation cycles. Elemental incarnation cycle. That's pretty good. This is the turn where it would be very nice of my deck to produce an out to Collector Oof. Gonna fetch Underground Sea here. I have red in my hand. Orcish Bowmasters. Not upset about it. I'm just going to pick off the Dryad Arbor right now. If I can deny them a resource going into their turn. The alternative was trying to ambush Collector Oof in combat, but they saw Bowmasters game 1. I doubt they'd just shove that. They have a 4th mana, and they're going for something here. I'll have to counter a Minskenboo. Hardcast Grief. Okay, so some options here are force this thing, then it's also not in play. Yeah, I'm just going to force it, actually. Because there's a chance they leave the 1 ring in my hand because they have Oof. But I would like it in play, and that way someday I'll answer Oof, and then we're fine. Oh, wow. They're attacking with Oof, unlocking my 1 ring, give it to me. Happy to trade this off. Opponent probably thought things are better without Bowmaster in play, or that I wouldn't trade that thing off. But seeing what they've seen now, they know exactly what's about to happen. And I found the Sheoldred to go with it. Tough time to be my opponent. And I'm also not even worried about discard this turn because I have protection from everything. Cool. Pass. It's combo time. 5 mana in play for the opponent. Draw a card in the end step. Opponent did not cast any spells. And now time to go for the coup d'etat here. I had Baleful Strix as a blue card anyway. I was about to say I even found the Force, but I had it. I am drawing now. I have land drops to hit, and the engine's online. Messed up stuff here. Opponent fetching in the end step. Let's see if that's turning on a Fatal Push, or what is this doing? Nothing, just fetching. Deal. Sheoldred deals 2 to them. Grist. Do I care about Grist? Only if another creature ends up being in play. I'm gonna min-max here and let Grist happen. Because I can either put them in the Abyss, where I attack Grist every turn and they have to jump with the insect, or Grist dies. Okay, I take 2, then I gain 2, then I draw 3 and gain 6. Pretty good deal all around. And now I found another Sheoldred. I just don't even care about anything. Gain another 6 life. And I'm going to play out my land so I can back up this Thoughtseize with Force of Will, in case I need to. And then I'm going to Thoughtseize you. Tell me about your thoughts. Green Sun Zenith and Red Blast. Okay. Green Sun Zenith is gone. I don't care about Red Blast. It'll push your insect, attack Grist. And I'm going to cast Baleful Strix here too. Invite you to spend your Red Blast on something that's not my Force of Will. It also gains me 2 life if it resolves. And B-Storm. Just gain 6 life at will. They'd have to come up with something pretty special to beat this. One Ring has drawn 6 cards already. It's going to be 10 next turn. Life total in no danger. Backup Sheoldred ready. Oh no! This is exactly the thing I said. Uh-oh. Okay. Like I said, they'd need something pretty special, and I think that qualifies. It is currently tapped. I can replay Sheoldred and kind of get like a Weeble Wobble thing going where I have Sheoldred in play for my ring activation every turn to keep my life total flush, and then they bounce it later. Okay, fetching a basic swamp here. I should have brainstormed first. I'll brainstorm now. Put back one of the Sheoldreds, and does Lightning Bolt matter? It might. Yeah, I have to win this game somehow. Oh, Ponder doesn't matter. Yeah, Ponder doesn't matter at all. Okay, Thoughtseize you. You're probably going to Bolt or Pyroblast Strix in response. Might as well. It's use it or lose it. Then there's nothing in their hand that's worth 2 life to get together. Fetch. I missed 6 life this turn. Also, I could have played Sheoldred before the brainstorm. Here's Sheoldred, and then I'm going to go up to 8 cards in my hand. And gain 8 life. I don't have a land drop. I'll just send a Bolt upstairs, start winning the game. Bang. They'll probably bounce Sheoldred in their upkeep so they don't lose 2 in their draw step. Nope, not interested. Okay, that's an important 2 life. We're on the nickel and dime plan because Sheoldred's never gonna connect in combat again. Bouncing Sheoldred. Oh, actually a pretty good draw. Force pitching Ponder. I don't need Ponder. I have the One Ring active. But I Thoughtseize that Red Blast. Look at that. That could have flipped the game on me. This turn, the One Ring will go to 15 cards drawn this game. Bowmaster plus Bolt is 4 guaranteed direct damage available. Then if the Bowmaster gets even 1 attack in, that's opponent at 2 and dead to the next Bolt. We got GGs in the chat. We'll see if they are conceding or just saying, just acknowledging the inevitable. Yep, okay. They've had enough. Yeah, One Ring. What's up? Messed up card. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play in round 2 against a Yorion strategy. I've definitely recognized G-Hash's name. I'm not sure who this actually is, but I think this is one of the names attached to Yorion Zenith strategies. We're about to find out, though. Thoughtseize deck. Oh, my goodness. Well, yeah, I'll Thoughtseize the turn 1 Hull Breacher. My goodness. All right, playing against the Hull Breacher deck, I have some concerns with my deck that's built for... Okay. We have both laid bearer strategies here. All right, taking the Cling to Dust over either of the bangers, committing to figuring it out in the long game. Sick. It's a good draw. Brainstorm. I want to hide the One Ring and Bowmasters, and I'm going to play this Mountain that can kill a Hull Breacher if one shows up. Ancient Tomb. Karn the Great Creator, cool. All right, I mean, that was certainly a series of draw steps. Luckily, Lightning Bolt kills Karn. What are we wishing for? Liquid Metal Coating. Goodbye, Karn. I can play the Strix. Then I lose my One Ring. But against a Karn Hull Breacher deck, do I even want One Ring? Yeah, maybe I should just get this Strix into play. What am I worried about happening? Nothing. Okay. I'm gonna get I think I just want another Underground Sea. There's no double red in the deck. There's a bunch of double black and some double blue. It's either Badlands or Underground Sea, and I think it's just Underground Sea. Yeah, I think trying to hit this land drop and get Sheoldred down is the best thing I can do, rather than Bowmasters. Because I have perfect information. Thoughtseize, okay. They also have perfect information. My hand is all good cards here. Taking the Sheoldred, fair enough. I too would worry about that card. Yorion in hand. Second Bowmaster, good stuff. Spell Snare, does this matter versus hitting my land drop? And I'll hit the land drop. Spell Snare's under there. I know they have the Liquid Metal Coating in hand, but I don't think that's where they're going to go this turn. They can shove Yorion here. It's going to cost a bunch of life to do that between tapping the Ancient Tomb and fetching. This is the Bowmaster they know about. They don't know about the other one. I think I'm off Spell Snare. I'm going to shuffle. Hitting some kind of removal spell or engine would be nice here. Attack with Baleful Strix. That one is un-F-withable. Now I can Bowmaster if they try to draw cards. I'm set up against Thoughtseize. There's the Coating that I opted not to be able to counter. And I think I want to Cling to Dust to draw a card rather than shove Bowmasters here. And I'm going to go for Karn. Exile 5 cards. Another Bowmaster. All right. My bows are so mastered. I'm going to shove the extra damage through. They block the Bowmaster. They take 2. It's fine. Down to 1 tap of Ancient Tomb this game because they don't know I can pow-pow them. Seagate Restoration. So I ping them to 3. My army gets bigger. Ping them to 2. My army gets bigger. I have lethal here. They're going to have to come up with some sort of way to fend this off without tapping their Ancient Tomb. Couldn't do it. Burn deck. Okay, they're on some sort of Karn Stompy Yorion strategy. Cast into the Fire seems good. Pyroblast seems good. I think I should expect Urza Saga out of this deck. Does that mean I want Dress Down? Probably. Dauthi Voidwalker is another way to attack, and I do like that. I like the things that kill Hull Breacher. I actually don't think Cling to Dust is that good. I don't expect them to use their graveyard a whole lot. Sheoldred's Edict can answer Karn. Baleful Strix seems pretty medium. Oh, One Ring versus the Karn Hull Breacher deck. There's a lot of ways to punish this. It is central to my engine, so I'm not going to cut all of them, but I think I can back off a little bit. Baleful Strix seems mid. Spell Snare seems mid. Stern Scolding hits. Hull Breacher. I'll keep that in. Hitotsugu consumes all. Can clean up Urza Saga stuff if that becomes a thing. I like everything that kills a Hull Breacher. Not a card I want to play against. Maybe Stern Scolding is not how I want to handle Hull Breacher. I'm just looking at my cuts here and killing it in play rather than hoping I have an answer after it resolves, or hoping I have Stern Scolding at the time it's cast. It's much easier to answer it in play. I think I'm dropping another Strix here. It's a low impact object. And we'll see more about their deck this game if Meltdown becomes a thing that I'm interested in. I don't know. Right, I'll keep this hand. I have Force of Will. Actually, I have 2 Force of Wills if they stomp out Hull Breacher on this early Brainstorm. Interesting. I'm going to play the Mountain. This can cast the Pyroblast and then touch Underground Sea. This kind of gives away what I'm doing a little bit. But it still answers Hull Breacher all the same. I don't care if I give this away. Pitching Force of Will, Days Undoing. Pyroblast that. That might have been bait. I don't really know. Don't really care. If they invested all that in, I'm going to have a bunch of resources, then spin up their hand. Then we stop that. They did tap Peat Bog to do that, so nothing was free. Peat Bog's gone. Karn's on the stack. I'm going to force pitching one of the Brainstorms. Prismatic Vista. I think I'd rather just Scalding Tarn here. And now I can Force of Will whatever happens this turn and get the One Ring going. That seems like a reasonable place to be. Another Peat Bog. I'm not going to Brainstorm into a Hull Breacher. That would put the shields down on Force. Okay. I have Force available. I'm going to fetch Badlands and Underground Sea here. And I have One Ring to rule them all. Trigger, protection from everything, pass the turn. Giving them the draw step is one more shot for them to find Hull Breacher, but I have Force for that anyway. Yorion in hand. Drew a Ponder off the ring. Take 1. Draw a Brainstorm. Draw 2 cards off the ring. Him to Taraku. That sounds pretty good against your 3-card hand. Blast it. Hit the Yorion, that's gone, and a Chrome Mox. And Ponder. Yeah. There's Sheoldred to really shut this thing down. I can't cast Bowmasters yet, but I think I do want it in my hand. Or, that doesn't matter. I'm going to draw all these cards before anything else matters. They have 1 card in their hand and I have Force of Will. And I'm going to start outdrawing them 3, 4, 5 cards a turn. Gaia Reach Sanitarium. Okay. Each player draws and discards a card. Deal. I'll discard 1 of my Brainstorms. I lose 2. Play my land. Put Sheoldred into play. Draw 3 cards. Gain 6 life. We've seen this one before. Opponents had enough. I probably should have thought about fetching because I just drew my fetchable Black Source and can't actually Bowmasters here. Probably should have thought of about that before drawing 3 cards. Luckily, didn't matter. And I also have Brainstorm in my hand. I can put it back. But good to know. This engine, once again, taken over.
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7 Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7 Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7 Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
I'm on the draw in round 3 with a hand that needs another blue or black mana to really get off the ground. But I have a bunch of interaction here. Thoughtseize plus some Fatal Pushes. This is enough game to play. What I'm worried about here is Wasteland on my first land and not finding another black source soon enough. But the Tundra deck, probably good news for that. Cool. Got there immediately on the extra land. Let's see what version of Tundra we're playing against. Ooh. Big, hardy, hefty control with Terminus in it is what we're playing against. I'm a little worried about this Teferi in the long term, but I'm going to take Brainstorm, and these Swords to Plowshares are actively bad. But so are all my Fatal Pushes, so we're in a battle of wits here. Also, opponent, no land in this hand. Let's see if we get a Brainstorm lock. Oh my god, we spun up a Wasteland. Disappointing. And I'm glad I found my land last turn. We're a Wasteland Terminus to Fairy Time Raveler deck. What even is this? I'm still fetching Underground Sea. I don't think I can afford to get basic Swamp here. And how many Wastelands could this deck actually play? Oh, we're a 4-color Uro pile. Interesting. Okay. I'll take Teferi now. We know that Swords to Plowshares Terminus are going to be their next 2 draws. I would very much like to get this Strix going and find land number 4. Before Uro's online. They just drew the Terminus. There was a pause in their draw step where Moto was acknowledging it. Can't counter this one with Stern Scolding. And they hit land number 4. Uro's happening next turn. Suddenly way behind. Gonna get bad lands. And play my Strix. Blue-black. I can Fatal Push the Uro. Oh, good. I'm gonna force this Uro so hard. That's so much better than Fatal Pushing it. Let's see if they start spending these Swords to Plowshares. Yeah. Their hand is Plow Terminus right now. If I can force Uro and then jam the One Ring, we're doing it. Only 3 cards left in their graveyard. This will buy me some time. Come on, deck. Give me the land. Land, 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 land. Any land. Oh, no. Okay, it's not the land, but it is the engine. Wait, what are they doing? Oh, they have a... Where'd they get this mystery card? Oh yeah, they had a draw step last turn, and then they just cast Uro. Right, that's how Magic the Gathering works. Land? Okay. I'll bolt Teferi, I'll take that. I'm back in trouble to Uro. 1 fetch land, and they can get Uro going. 1 fetch land, 1 cantrip. Just another Uro. Yeah, that 1 wasteland at the start of this game. Big problem for me, turns out. And they're cracking this 3rd land right now. They land. Oh my goodness, we did it. Okay. Now we get to square up One Ring versus Uro. I don't like that I'm 2 turns behind now on the interaction. But if I find a fetch land, Fatal Push the Uro, I will outmuscle this eventually. Ooh. Okay, they're taking a turn off Uro to deal with the ring. Probably the right call. Ponder. If I could find a Cling to Dust. No Cling to Dust here. This is actually really bad. And we know they still have the Swords to Plowshares for Sheoldred. I gotta shuffle this. Shuffle. Found a land. That land will Fatal Push Uro. And we tread water for another day. I don't think I care about them drawing a card first. Yeah, if anything, if they commit more mana into something else, thinking that they're going to have Uro in play, I'm fine with that. End step fetch turns on Fatal Push. Push the Uro. Bolt the Halfling. Orcish Bowmasters, cool. Okay, now I'm starting to overwork this Swords to Plowshares, at least I hope so. 2 things worth killing here. Well, let's just get it done. I wonder if they would have put the plow away or shuffled it away if I had not Bowmastered right away, but I think it's fine. I've had a permanent leave play now, so I can push another Uro and then shove Sheoldred onto this new empty board. But also they have a Terminus that they can float to the top now. Cracking a fetch land. If they put Terminus in the deck, it's not on the top. Good to know. Ponder. They're really going for extra protection on this Uro. Chose not to shuffle. Here it is, and this time I do have to push in response to the trigger, because I don't have a good second wave if they find a Force of Will now. That's dead again. Opponent's at 27. with 4 cards in their hand. Another Bowmaster. All right. Kind of wanted to shove Sheoldred this turn, but Bowmaster is a lot of fun. All right, I'm shoving Sheoldred. We're doing it. Don't know about this Terminus anymore. If they cast Terminus from hand right now, then... Oh, they Miracled Terminus after all that. Was that one seen on the Ponder? I guess it was. Yeah, they set that up and I walked into it. That's the thing about Terminus, though. Like, if you play like they'll never have it, then you never play any creature. Or if you play like they have it always, then you'll never have a creature. Oh, yikes. Okay. Opponent has pulled way ahead at this point. I would be very interested in this Cling to Dust that's in my deck somewhere. I can start clinging Uros. Or my own One Ring. That would be cool. Baleful Strix. Okay. Black, blue. Brainstorm. Yeah, I'll take a spin here. Don't love it, but here we are. I can Bowmaster in response to a ring activation. In their deck full of Swords to Plowshares. Probably not going to get me very far, but at least it's something I can do. Shoot you for 1. Immediately plowed. And now they can put Uro in. I know the top cards in my deck don't help. Ooh, 4th Aerolingus for 5 things. That means they 10 me here and become the Monarch. You know, I'll trade with one of them and I take 9. They become the Monarch. And these 2/2s don't go away. This isn't like a ball lightning spell. Those are just there. Gonna have 4 2/2 tramples in play moving forward. I think my opponent is on the same kind of strategy as me, but doing a much better job at it. I'm gonna have a bunch of decks like this on the channel, by the way. Don't worry. I've got 4-color Uro Soup. I did one already. There's a Stoneblade version. There's another Hot Bant version. Lots of stuff coming up in the future with this sort of style. A Brainstorm. Well, I found a Cling to Dust right on time. Cling to Dust, one of these Uros. And end step, I draw a card. Guess I'm just playing Bowmasters here. Deal 1 to them. And I'll pass the turn and die. Oh, they did just tap their ring fearlessly. I'll put damage on these human knights where I can. I can trade off Bowmaster for one of them, or I could just leave Bowmaster in play. I think my chances are better with Bowmaster in play. They become the Monarch 3 times. Swords to Plowshares was recovered. Looking forward to bringing in Blood Moon and Graveyard Hate here. Uro, like I said, in the deck tech, constantly the bane of Grixis. We got to a point where we were at relative board parity, but they had 2 Uros in the graveyard that had been there for basically the whole game. 7 cards in hand. They should probably just force this Brainstorm. Safe bet. Sheoldred and Spell Snare. None of those cards matter. We can stop. Okay, Blood Moon for sure, coming straight in. Dothy Voidwalker coming in. I want at least 1 copy of Surgical. I also want Cast in the Fire for their One Rings. Consume is kind of Graveyard Hate. And Fatal Push is not where I want to be. It does pick off an emergency Uro. Lightning Bolt hits Delighted Halfling and all the Planeswalkers they have. Yeah, this is rough. Pyroblast should be in. Yeah, maybe Consume is just bad here. It does kill... Oh, it kills all the 4th Aerolingus monsters, and it kills Delighted Halfling. That's a lot better than it used to be in this matchup, where it was just kind of suspend 1 Tormod's Grip. Sheoldred's Edict might be kind of mid. Stern Scolding. I don't think there's a single target for that. Spell Snare doesn't seem good either. Yeah, it's not that Lightning Bolt is thrilling in the matchup. It just has some targets. Is Baleful Strix worse than Lightning Bolt? I don't think so. I'm bringing in Pyroblast that kind of does that. Flusterstorm on 4th Aerolingus looks pretty good. And on Terminus. Yeah, I should have Flusterstorm in. I'll shave a Strix for that one. Okay, this is my plan. I like this setup. I can Blood Moon quickly. I'm going to keep... I think I'm just going to Island Ponder to start this off. And after they Wastelanded me game 1, hopefully this doesn't look suspicious. Another Force of Will, a Bowmaster, Pyroblast. These are all good cards, but they're not land number 3, which is what I actually need. But I think I will keep this pile. This gives me force backup to shove the Blood Moon through, and Bowmasters gives me a shuffle. Blighted Halfling, that's super annoying. Alright, JK, I'm on Force of Will this thing plan. That will probably give away my Bowmaster strat. I think I am just going to fetch basics here and hope that the third land I draw makes red rather than getting wastelanded here. That would be so embarrassing. Another halfling and a Tundra, Swords of Plowshares. Okay, come on, red source. Oh no, I've made the worst possible mistake. Yikes. All right, well, I'm going to attack. This should be pretty obvious what I'm doing here. Yikes, this has not gone well. Yeah, keeping that ponder might have been bad. I got blinded by the prospects of a protected Blood Moon. Now they're just going to shove an uncounterable One Ring on me. Okay. That one... Okay. How many of these knights do you want to attack with? Is the question. Just one. Yeah, this is cool, because I can ping the one they don't attack with. And then when they draw a card for the Monarch at the end of turn, I can finish it off, and then I can take the Monarch. Yeah, ping this, finish that off. And I can be the Monarch. Please, red source. Alright, I'll take any land at all to start. Bowmaster can poke for 1, leaving back a 3/3 blocker. Pretty good. Okay, deck. Nice. That one's actually really good. I can defend the Monarchy, even through a removal spell. Depending on how many creatures they attack with. Maybe they'll Brainstorm before combat. That would be sick. I still have a Bowmaster in play, so they're not going to Brainstorm before combat. That'd be pretty bad. I think I just let them have the Monarch, because in the end step, Bowmaster... like in response to their draw, I get to pick off a creature. Right, so that triggers other Bowmaster. We're in there, deal 1 to Human Knight, and then they draw a card. I get deal 1 to Human Knight and 1 to your face. Right, now I'm pressuring the Monarch again. Red source, let's go. Bolt the Halfling. Blood Moon can wait. I am here to take the Monarch. I'm just getting in with everything. I'm not going to not get the Monarch here. Okay, end step, draw a card. Him to Turok, cool. Orcish Bowmasters doing their thing here. If opponent taps out for 1 ring here, I'm jamming Blood Moon. If they Minsk and Boo, I can outmuscle that with my bigger creatures. Ponder, wow, they're so desperate. They're just casting cantrips into double Bowmaster. Feels bad for you and good for me. Chose to shuffle. Send it. The 1 ring, okay. They get protection from everything, so Bowmasters are going to ping my army, because they can't hit my opponent. But the army just grows. It can handle any amount of damage I deal to it. Okay, options. Oh, sick. Options are shove Blood Moon or shove Sheoldred. I could also exile the ring, but I don't think I care about that. I'm going to put Sheoldred into play and just dare them to draw some cards ever. Nice. Okay, didn't have to show them Blood Moon. Okay. We took turns slaughtering each other. Now let's see who gets the slaughter in game 3. Yeah, that 4th Aerolingus was really aggressive, and I'm glad I was able to punish it. Do I want Hydroblast for that card and Minsk and Boo? And Pyroblast? Maybe. Do I need Surgical if I have Voidwalkers in with Cling to Dust? Maybe. I think Consume is too good. Like, the cases where Consume is good are not great cases for me. Yeah, I think I like this setup. mean, Plague Engineer on human makes their 4th Aerolingus a lot worse. Yeah, Hydroblast fighting over that card seems like an important texture to this matchup that didn't exist before Lord of the Rings. I can rock with this. No removal has me slightly concerned. If they do a Halfling into Teferi start, I'm in a lot of trouble. I am going to keep, though. Island Ponder. Oh dear. Opponent's on a mull to 4. And then just scooped. Okay. I don't know what they were looking for there, but they did not find it. And we remain undefeated. Let's go.
The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy-to-create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe.
I'm on the draw in round 4 with a speculative hand that I am going to keep. Force of Will, obviously good at keeping me alive. Brainstorm, good at hitting these lands that I'm going to need. Turok, really bad at being cast by basic island, though. That's the tension in this hand. The nuts is, of course, if I draw Underground Sea and then cantrip my way into Badlands. It looks like we're against some 8 casts, though. Oh, it's Painter. Neat. Don't mind Grindstone so much. That one comes out of the... Sick, we did it. That one comes out of the Urza Saga anyway. There's one Hidetsugu Consumes All in the main that can stabilize versus a go-wide Saga plan. The Spire of Industry does not activate Saga here. They don't have any artifacts. I think I actually am going to Underground Sea Brainstorm and just try to spike the Black Source here. I don't love this, but Hymn to Turok put me in a difficult situation of being completely cracked, except when it's not. Orcish Bowmasters, huh? That's a dirty trick. Okay, they're down to 3 cards in their hand. This would be an excellent... Alright, no love. Put back the One Ring and one of these Hymn to Turoks. Okay, we didn't get there. Cling to Dust. I could cling this Mishra's Bauble to Dust right now before they're representing mana again. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. I would like the redraw here. Missing this is actually really bad. Not only did we miss on the Black Source, but didn't find a Fatal Push or removal spell. Could be in some trouble. One Ring's pop in here. Soul Guide Lantern's going to pick off my Cling to Dust. That's why one of the reasons I was thinking about waiting also, but I don't want them to be able to ping me with a Bowmaster on my Cling to Dust. Island, okay, so we are at least, we're blue-black painter so far. Could be more colors. Fire of Industry, cool tech. I would kind of love if they just randomly grindstone me here. Yes, get rid of that Hymn to Turok. Yeah. Wait, what just happened? Oh, the Hymn to Turok's in my hand. I drew from... That was an end-step Brainstorm, and then I drew from the thing. Nope. They milled the Swamp that I actually would have been the nuts. Yeah, I forgot I immediately redrew both of those cards. I'm so unused to casting Brainstorm at any time other than my main phase. Okay, just Soul Guide Lanterning my stuff away. They might think I'm a Murktide deck. Black Source? Black Source? Yeah, always had it, never worried. GG. Badlands for sure. Unload. Get them down to 1 card in their hand, and then One Ring is looming. Bang. Force of Will and Ancient Tomb to the graveyard. Lotus Petal. If their last card is Painter, I'm worried. Doesn't look like it is. Alright, they are continuing the slow blind grind on me here. Sheoldred kills them faster, but One Ring makes sure I don't randomly die to Painter. The Lightning Bolt does that too. Alright, I'm just getting the ring going. Seems like the best thing to do here. And I'll draw a card now. We've seen Bowmasters. Let's just lock in the profits. I would love to draw another black or red source this turn. If I could hold up Lightning Bolt while deploying Sheoldred. That would be a good situation. Through Stern Scolding, that answers Painter. I could Hymn to Turok them and just put them to nothing and then figure out where I want to go from there. I love when opponents have nothing. I am not worried about a slow Grindstone activation. I'm just going to get them to 0 and then take over with my Sheoldred. Bowmasters, I'll Scold that. Mox Opals in the graveyard. Hit my land drop. Not worried about Painter now. Lightning Bolts up. And they can't slow grind me this turn because they spent mana on Bowmasters. On the Great Creator. Annoying, but okay. If they minus it, it dies to Bolt. If they don't minus it, it dies to Double Bolt. Did minus it. Probably grabbing a Painter here, trying to set up the dub. But I have the dub covered. They did grab Painter. I have perfect information, so I can just cast my spell here. If I draw Black Source after my ring activation, or at any point, I can Thoughtseize the Painter. Sheoldred, activate, find 3 cards. Okay. None of these are black sources, but I can Bolt Painter. They're not even close to enough mana to play Painter and activate Grindstone in the same turn. I think I'm just going to Bolt in the end step now. That's how not worried about Painter I am. I would like my opponent to be dead. Draw for turn, Hitotsugu consumes all. Will remove all of my opponent's relevant permanents from play. Start with a Thoughtseize. See what you're working with. 32 cards in my deck. Plenty to win the game with. Okay, another thing that dies to Hitotsugu consumes all. Or at least the army will. I'll ring in response to this. Oh cool, I can Bolt it now too. Turns out, when you're drawing 3, 4, 5, etc. cards in a turn, things are pretty easy. Okay, they're pinging me for 1, or they're pinging Sheoldred for 1. Interesting. Think you're going to get 5 more pings this turn? Take the Painter. And then Scalding Tarn is going to fetch for an answer to Bowmaster, and then I'm going to consume the rest of their board. Lightning Bolt Bowmaster. Hitotsugu consumes all. Black, red, colorless. My opponent has basic Island Spire of Industry in play versus 1 ring on 5 and Sheoldred. Yeah! Wow, this is messed up. Painter Servant is what I'm up against. Cast into the Fire. Meltdown. Rest down. Don't think I care about Voidwalker. They didn't seem to be doing graveyard loopy stuff. They seem to be doing big ramp Karn stuff. Stern Scolding and Spell Snare, both great against their deck. Painter and Orcish Bowmasters, which were the 2 important cards we saw, both susceptible to both of those. Karn the Great Creator is the card that I'm most concerned about at the end of the day here. Baleful Strix, not important to this matchup. I like my removal, every single piece of it. I like my counter spells, every single one. I like Hitotsugu consumes all. I like Hymn to Turok. Maybe I don't need Cling to Dust. Yeah, they just don't seem to be doing a bunch of graveyard stuff, at least not from what I can see. They are a blue deck. Pyroblast could be true and reasonable. They're a multicolor deck. Blood Moon could punish, plus the Saga. I think I'd rather just play this as a Grixis control deck than try to cheese with Blood Moon, though. I think we're pretty well lined up here. I'm going to keep this hand that can actually cast Hymn to Turok. Opponent's on 6 with a 61 card deck. Fascinating. Running the Painter out there. I will spend a Force Will on this, even though I'm not happy about it. I would much rather Fatal Push that thing, but my hand doesn't have that card right now. Which hardly seems fair, if I'm being honest. Okay, B-Storm, I like that one. If they have a second Ancient Tomb and shove Karn here, I might have been taken for a ride. Wobbling me on their own turn, which means that they're going to draw the card on my turn, which means I can discard it. Okay, Polluted Delta for Badlands leaves the most basic land still accessible in my fetch land spread. I don't think I'm going to need basics in this matchup, but it's still true. Him to Turok. How we doing? Uh-oh. They're doing something. Rebuke, okay. Him to Turok turned into Duress. And they lost 2 life. Deal. I'm now on the lookout for black mana, because if they're able to Bowmaster this Brainstorm, that's going to hurt a lot. But Ancient Tomb does not interact with Brainstorm. They haven't printed Zombie Spirit Guide, as far as I know. Brainstorm, big Sheoldred, the Sheold Mother. Put back Basic Island for sure, and I guess Scalding Tarn is the other one. I don't think I'm going to just melt down 1-for-1 against this Grindstone. If they had an Artifact land or a Mox Opal laying around, I would take any 2-for-1. Oh, there it is. Let's hope I don't die right now. They have Painter plus... Oh, we're the Thoughtcast Painter deck. Didn't see any of that stuff game 1. They are passing the turn. Gonna fetch in the end step for Volcanic Island, just round out my dual land spread. I definitely would add Pyroblast in if I saw this stuff. Play Scalding Tarn and Meltdown for 1. They can't Rebuke here. I can pay, I can pay for Flusterstorm. They'd have to Force of Will. Force of Negation, that works too. Ponder. I'd love to find an answer to Painter, and I did. I'm going to put Spell Snare on the top. With Ponder underneath it, probably shuffle away this Force of Will. Have Painter covered now. Don't have Karn covered. Mox Opal. That represents enough mana to kill me with Painter. It also represents Hardcast Force of Will. I currently have a Force on top of my deck. I don't really want my Sheoldred forced. I do have some powerful anti-artifact stuff still in my deck. I'm just going to Ponder. Force of Will Bowmaster. I'll take a Bowmaster. And I'm not going to play Sheoldred into the Force. See if we can get an 8 cast and then some interaction. Slow grinding me, that's fine. Mill the Force of Will and land that I saw from the Ponder. I was probably going to shuffle those away anyway. Painter's Servant is on the stack. They'll snare that. Okay, handled. And if they had Force Blue card, they would have used it there because it's lethal. And if they've been sandbagging Hardcast Force, that's fine. That doesn't work here. If they've been sandbagging Bowmasters, they're going to ping mine, but at least it's heads up. Oh, they're just randomly milling me in response? Weird. Sure. Resolves. Now I don't have to worry about Bowmaster going into next turn. I'd love a 1-mana removal spell here. Deck plays a lot of them. Oh, him to Turok. That might be better. It's going to put you to Hellbent. 2 Dismembers hit the bin. Okay, don't top deck exactly Painter Servant right now, please. Oh no, they did it! Come on! This is an outrage. Okay, I am dead. They have exactly enough and rip the Painter Servant. That's why you put a combo in your deck. Disappointing. Game 3. Now that I know what they're up to a little more, Pyroblast is more interesting. I still want Consume. I still want Cast in the Fire. All this removal's good. All the discard's good. Where do I find a cut? We did see Karn. Maybe I back off the One Ring a little. And Bowmaster kills their Bowmaster, but mostly is medium. So against the Thoughtcast part of the deck, it is pretty good. I still think Bowmaster doesn't line up against Painter specifically, which is the thing I'm most worried about. So I will leave that there. No lander, gotta send it. Okay, I'll keep this one. I'm gonna keep this and send Volcanic Island to the bottom. Or I could fetch the Badlands if I want it. I'm gonna cast Ponder off of Underground Sea on turn 1, just deciding how I want to get rid of these things. Double black, him versus double blue. Double black is the most immediately pressing mana value in my deck. I'll just hold on to the Badlands for now. And be rewarded for it. Cool. Just a beautiful spread of cards off the top there. I'm going to shove him to Turok this turn, and then next turn, I'll be holding up Lightning Bolt and Bowmaster. Or I can draw Lightning Bolt now. If they try to turn one a Painter, I'll just bolt it and take the turn off on him to Turok. The mana they have here cannot cast Metallic Rebuke because they don't have blue to get it started. Hit you with the Hymn. Karn, Dismember to the graveyard. Dismember is whatever. Very happy to see Karn go, though. And now if they bobble on my turn, I'll have an extra Bowmaster ping on their upkeep. Lotus Petal. Ooh, we're Lotus Petaling out a Mox Opal. This hand is pretty awkward right now. That's an extra card I get if I end up countering anything here. We're just making a construct now. Okay. That's legal. Thoughtcast. I could Force of Will of Thoughtcast, but I'm not going to. This doesn't seem important to me. Fire of Industry, that turns on Metallic Rebuke, but we're spending mana now. Can't Thoughtcast again from this spot. Good Emery. Okay, they tapped and then untapped. I think they have another Thoughtcast in hand, which is the nuts because I'm drawing Bowmaster. And I'm going to bolt this construct while it's still boltable. Currently exactly the correct size to suffer my wrath. And because I have the read that they have Thoughtcast in their hand, I think that's a good spot to do that. Because it also denies them a mana. It turns off Mox Opal as well. Good stuff all around. And now I have Bowmaster with Force backup. Versus their 3-card hand, one of which I suspect is Thoughtcast. I'm going to fetch Volcanic Island now before they get Pithing Needle and mess up my land. They probably can't afford to do that here, but I'm not going to give it to them. Wow, just grabbing baubles into my Bowmaster hand. I'm going to let it ride. This spread of cards has Thoughtcast, but barely. You need some blue in the mix for that, if that's what's happening. There it is. Pay attention, folks. My opponent told me they had this card last turn, and I listened, and I'm ready. They have 1 card left in their hand. If they Bowmaster me back, I guess I force it. It would be a sad use of force. I hope they just have nothing, but it also makes these baubles super risky. And unlike Hull Breacher or similar, Bowmaster doesn't stop them from drawing these cards. They might just be able to shit out a bunch of artifact stuff here and just take 4 to do it, and it's not a big deal. There's Emery. Things in the graveyard are Mox Opal, and Lotus Petal. Emery's currently a Birds of Paradise. On removal spell. Sheoldred. Not quite what I wanted, but not bad. I'm going to Brainstorm. This gives up my Force of Will, but I have so many good 1-for-1 interactions in my deck. Like, look at this. Bonkers. I'll save Sheoldred for next turn, and I can Stern Scold a Painter, which is the card I care about. Yeah, if I put back Force and Sheoldred, I can attack for 3 now. Hold up 2 pieces of interaction. Maybe I wanted Force on top of Sheoldred, actually, because I have to survive next turn. That's the turn they're going to tutor up Grindstone and try to do stuff. Yeah, countering Painter barely does anything. It just makes it cost 2 more with Emery. Emery's targeting Mox Opal, a card that is already in play. Yeah, if they target Lotus Petal with that, their construct gets 1 point bigger. That was kind of a mistake. And they still have massive constructs, and I am concerned about that. Yeah, I should have put Force on top here, because I'm not going to tap out my multiple pieces of removal on the turn where they could present Painter. 5/5 is really big. Sheoldred does have Death Touch, just in case that matters. Yeah, if I don't have to Stern Scold anything this turn, I'll be holding up Force to back up my Sheoldred this coming turn. And then we're in kind of an interesting racing situation. This Shadow Spear makes it a lot less interesting. See how aggressive they want to be with this. I can exile Shadow Spear and just go heads up versus the constructs. Okay, that's equipped. Going after Shadow Spear is a lot better than going after the Construct here. I don't know about a lot better, but certainly some better. Exile Shadow Spear. Do I need to block yet? I will. Because if they panic and start popping baubles, my one army just gets bigger. I don't get to go wide. I think it's better to do that now if my plan is to go wide. And now I need Sheoldred to create some pressure and soak up some damage. Because these things are going to kill me if I don't find a dress down or meltdown quickly. One Ring is busted here. I already have the Sheoldred in play, giving fogging for the turn, completely insane. They're attacking before activating Emery. That saves me 2 damage. I'm just going to go to 7 here, which is meaningfully different than 5, because now I draw a card, go to 9, and Construct would need to get 2 points bigger to kill, or 3 points bigger to kill me, whereas I would already be forced to block each of them next turn if these were 7s now. Okay, deck, One Ring. I'd even take like Brainstorm here, Meltdown, Dress Down, so many good draws, so many game winners. Sheoldred's Edict, that I would consider a game winner. This, I can make them sacrifice a token creature, and that takes a ton of pressure off of me. Each opponent sacrifices a creature token. I'm doing this in their upkeep. This is before they draw for their turn. Now I can spend another turn just getting hit by this thing. It's not a big deal. Sheoldred can trade off with it at any point, and then we're Bowmasters and my interaction in hand versus Emery. And every turn they draw a card with Sheoldred in play, they get closer to death, and all of their Thoughtcast effects are basically uncastable. If you Thoughtcast here, you go to 3, and I get another creature. This Bauble has literally been in place since turn 1. I'm just going to go to 3 and hope they don't have any instant speed artifacts. It's not time yet. Brainstorm, One Ring, all these good cards, Meltdown, Dress Down. Come on, deck. Thoughtseize is not one of them. If I Thoughtseize, I go to 3, and it's the turn I have to chump with Bowmaster anyway. Yeah, I'll Thoughtseize you. Let's see what you're up to. This might inform what my blocks are, or how I sequence my counter magic. They have a response. Metallic Rebuke. I'll pay 3 for that. Deal. Thoughtcast and Painter Servant. Painter in the graveyard. I prefer it there because that way forcing it is... Oh, I should attack, huh? If I have to block anyway... How does this go wrong? I don't think it really does. Okay, yeah, attack. This is how we win this game. Did I even attack last turn that I missed? Or what, did they ever attack with 2 constructs? They did. Yeah, I think I forgot to attack with Sheoldred on a turn, and this game could be over right now. If I'm remembering this game correctly. All right, opponents at 5. They're going to draw a card to 3. Definitely turned off Thoughtcast here. I have to chump with Bowmasters. I can force a Dismember. Either Spellbomb beats me because they can refire it with Emery. Hope they don't have that one. Painter Servant from hand. You don't have a Grindstone. I don't care about this. And you can replay it with Emery. It's just a blocker. You're playing another Painter from the graveyard. You got it. This makes Construct heckin' huge. I need my deck to come up with a good draw here. Even just like Brainstorm to gain me some life would be great. The One Ring ends the game on the spot. As has been the case the whole time. Dress Down, Meltdown, all that. Just unassailable. Ponder. Come on, deck. So many good draws. Don't fail me now. Even Fatal Push on the Construct would do it. Thoughtseize, not that one. Okay. How can I survive this game? I guess I just have to jump the Construct. My opponent's at 1. Lightning Bolt's a live draw. Okay. Opponent goes to 1 here. Yeah, if I missed that attack with Sheoldred 3 turns ago, like I think I did, this game could have been over right now. Okay, have to block. I have Death Touch. So that's handled. However, this unlocks the Thoughtcast. Lightning Bolt, Bowmaster, any of that off the top wins the game. They didn't Thoughtcast. They didn't pop their baubles. Come on, deck. Keep them coming. Oh, yeah. All right. Meltdown with Force backup. I have to be careful about this Emery because it doesn't die to Meltdown. I don't really want to Thoughtseize first. There's one card I don't know. Meltdown for X equals 2. Unfortunately, showed up a turn late. Oh, you don't have Rebuke. Come on. What does this do? If I force this, I clear all their stuff. But then I'm at 4. All right. I guess I have to force this. Thoughtseizing first was a line there, but yuck. And they can pop their 2 baubles. All right, I'm in trouble. Officially in trouble. We're a turn behind. I might have missed an attack. I don't entirely remember the board state, but I think there was a turn where I took 12 from the constructs, and I was just so excited that I didn't take 14 instead that I blew it. The opponent's at 1, though. They can't use that Ancient Tomb in their hand. We just set this Thoughtcast back a long time. Lightning Bolt's in my deck. Bowmaster's in my deck. Emery is targeting Lotus Petal. This is still only 4 mana for a Thoughtcast. Grindstone, okay. They are approaching the combo. Lightning Bolt, Bowmaster, Lightning Bolt, Bowmaster. Pyroblast, okay. I am going to Thoughtseize first this time. If they rebuke this, I'm just going to let this get countered. Oh. Oh no, I'm dead! No! That was your draw? I guess you drew 3 cards, it's fine. Alright. This straight up kills me. I am putting myself to 2 on Thoughtseize, and this is 2 damage from Bowmaster. Alright. Really exciting game. I probably messed it up at some point. Opponent drew slightly better than me, but if I did miss that attack, I have nothing to say here. I deserve all of my pain. Okay. Tight one. On to the final round. Trophy's dead. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. On the play, in the final round, I am keeping this Island Ponder hand. I broke my own rule about leading on Underground Sea. I did not find Hymn to Tarak. I did find Sheoldred Bowmasters in my 4th land, though. The game plan is lined up here. 1 Ring's in my hand, Force was in my hand, Sheoldred's on top of my deck. Let's go. I can test their interaction with Bowmaster. Oh, we're doing this. Little Doomsday? Just a little Doomsday in the chat. Okay. I will pass the turn with the intention of using Bowmaster as bait and then Force of Willing what actually matters. Doubt they'll fall for it, but let's hope they cast a Ponder or Brainstorm here. Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual. I'll force first. That way at least I don't get dazed. Are we forcing back? Misdirection. Yuck. Okay. Opponent has misdirected my Force of Will to their misdirection. That's how that interaction works. I don't know why I Bowmastered now. This doesn't make any sense. I should have Bowmastered after the Doomsday resolved. Now they know they need to make a pile that doesn't just draw a bunch of cards. I don't know. I think I messed up. But they do have interaction. They go to 9 here. They do have to make a pile that doesn't draw cards too hard. So they go to 9. I attack them to 7. There are only 5 cards in their deck, so I guess they can just draw all of them and still win easily. Bummer. My hand was nuts against anyone who didn't kill me on turn 2. All right, I'm just going to look at this deck. Extra Oracle. Looks like 2 Dazes. Street Wraith in exile. All right. All I can do is hope that they made a bad pile. Oh, Cycling Street Wraith. Are we winning now? Okay. I mean, they must be, because Cycling Street Wraith just changed all of the math. Okay. Yeah, I guess you're just winning right now at 3 life. Sure. Cool. That works. Lion's Eye Diamond. Edge of Autumn, you go to 2. And Thassa's Oracle. Oh, Consider, you go to 1. Wow, what a show off. Alright. Wow, alright, yeah. Cool. Welcome to Doomsday. That's how that works. Okay, Dress Down comes in, Flusterstorm comes in, Pyroblast. Don't really like Dothy Voidwalker. Surgical, I am a discard deck versus a deck that's named after a card. That's usually my criteria. Is if I can Thoughtseize the name of your deck and then Surgical it, that's probably a good play. One Ring pretty slow for this matchup, and the protection doesn't matter. Sheoldred's Edict. They might board into some creatures, Bowmasters, Sheoldreds, Oppo Agents, Dothy Voidwalkers of their own. I'm not going to get completely away from removal for all those reasons. I bring in my Dothy Voidwalkers. Those are extra things that can attack. Stern Scolding, Spell Snare. What was in their deck that Spell Snare can hit? Handy dandy screenshot. There are 2 Cabal Rituals, the Oracle itself, and if they're boarding in Bowmaster, which I suspect, then Spell Snare works. Stern Scolding can also hit Oracle if it's not coming out through a cavern, which it basically always is. Lightning Bolt can mess up those fancy 1 life lines. Alright, I'm going to shave Fatal Push and leave in Stern Scolding. I just suspect that that will be more useful. Oh wait, was that too many cards? Do I get to keep one of these? Alright, what do I want? I get to keep something here. I could try to Blood Moon them. That does mess up Cavern, which turns on all my other interaction. Okay, yeah, I'll try the Blood Moon. Okay, Thoughtseize. Good start. I'm going to keep, and I'm going to Thoughtseize off of Underground Sea. Opponent's on 6 cards. Underground Sea, Thoughtseize you. 2 Dark Rituals, a Lotus Petal, and a Sheoldred. Yeah, I'll take the Sheoldred. That was certainly a plan. There's the Delta. Okay. I'm gonna Ponder and hope they didn't draw Bowmaster. Uh-oh. Gotta shuffle this. Come on, land. That's why we Ponder and not Brainstorm in these situations. Easy, always had it. Okay, pass the turn. Now it's kind of an awkward spot where I can Hymn to Tarok them, but their hand isn't even good. Do I even care? Okay, I can Brainstorm and then Hymn to Tarok them. I do like that. Brainstorm. Probably don't need 2 Lightning Bolts here. Oh, cool. There's a Surgical. Land number 4 versus Lightning Bolt number 2. I'm definitely putting back 1 bolt. And yeah, I'll keep 1 bolt around. Badlands. Hymn to Tarok you. Get the 2 Dark Rituals, okay. Hope that's important. I'm not in a hurry to Surgical the Sheoldred, because I can force the Sheoldred. Another land. Okay, Brainstorm. Let's mix it up. I like Dress Down, and I'm going to float the Bolt on top and decide if I want that starting next turn. I think I'm going to Surgical Sheoldreds in the draw step. They have 3 black mana. Going after Dark Ritual is not going to matter here. A Force of Will, 2 Petals, and an Underground Sea. Alright. Not an inspiring hand. And I'm definitely going to shuffle away the Lightning Bolt now that I've seen what's going on over there. They're showing me Hardcast Force of Will. I do have win conditions in my deck somewhere. This Blood Moon looking pretty embarrassing at this point. I'm going to start fetching basics just in case we get into a spot where that's relevant. Okay, I'm showing Hardcast Force now. Brainstorm. This can change everything. I'm going to force this while they can't force back. Wish I could just Bowmaster there, but that's not the card that I have. Now they run out the pedal to keep showing Hardcast Force. Lightning bolt's back. Okay. We're in ugly mode. My opponent is not functioning, but I need to actually pressure them. Ponder. Okay, this happens. Ponder is worse for them than Brainstorm would have been. Did not shuffle. Great. Doomsday me, daddy. Didn't doomsday me. Volcanic Island. I guess I didn't need to play that out. That represents Force of Will plus another thing, but I don't have Force of Will or another thing. And they didn't fetch. They didn't shuffle the Ponder and didn't fetch afterwards. Okay. And this Thoughtseize is okay. If they have Doomsday, it's going to happen here. 2 of my 3 cards interact with Oracle kind of meaningfully. And the dress down was going to be better. But now they can map out the entire game. Took the dress down, yep. That is pretty clearly the best card in my hand. Now they're going to cast Doomsday. And what if one time in my entire life I could cast a Ponder and it's just from Hellbent, Ponder off the top, Ponder is Doomsday plus protection for Doomsday. Not a bad life. Good way to get ahead in the world. All right, what do I need to do now? Rip Sheoldred off the top, and then they can't get through their Doomsday pile? They resolve the Doomsday before fetching. That means they can fetch to thin the pile by 1. That's 1 card they don't have to draw through. Okay, Doomsday is resolved. An Oracle in Exile. Cavern's in Exile too. Weird. Do you have 2 of those? Or are we on some Emrakul plan? I don't know what's going on right now. Okay. I think I'm just going to fire off Bolt in the end step and try to get them dead. This puts Bowmaster into a range where it could actually win the game. Swamp. Not what I needed. Okay, they're on a slow draw plan. Oh my goodness. I'm going to draw the Sheoldred the turn after they put the blue card in their hand to pad the action on Force of Will. Now they force this, which they didn't have last turn. Just going to draw this slightly out of order. Oh, it resolved. I am surprised. Doesn't mean it's going to stay there, but it's here now. Fetch puts you to 4, then you still have to get through 2 more cards in the deck, which kills you. Okay, here's the fetch. Did we put Fatal Push in the stack? The opponent's at 2. They saved the force for this one. Yep, okay. Right. Yeah, that works. And that lightning bolt that I fired off could bolt the Thassa's Oracle here. And their life total would be higher, but okay. Basically, what I needed that game was them to not top deck a cantrip that found exactly win con plus protection. But okay, that matchup is kind of a tough one. We have a bunch of discard and stuff. I'd rather be this Grixis deck than some Jeskai deck versus Doomsday. That's for sure. Great front half of the league, tough back half of the league. But I think that Painter match was pretty awesome. Came down to just some draws one way or the other. Would have broke it open for either of us. I think I might have missed an attack in it. If I just stone punted it, then that's on me. And Doomsday was tight. Sheoldred showed up a turn too late to win the game. But I was very impressed by the inevitability of the One Ring plus Sheoldred. This is such a sick endgame and just kind of completely obsoletes any sort of Snapcaster Mage, Hidetsugu consumes all, Planeswalker BS, Narset Dazeland doing. You don't need that anymore. This is enough. What we do with the other 55-ish slots in the deck remains to be seen. The thing about Grixis is you don't get Prismatic Ending, you don't get Swords of Plowshares. All of your removal is going to be conditional in some way, and you're going to be kind of bad against enchantments no matter what you do, and you can build your deck deciding how much artifact respect you want to give. Like, you could play Kolagon's Command, you could probably main deck Cast in the Fire. Like, there's options. Main deck Dress Downs, what spread you want in this, Stern Scolding, Spell Snare, Soft Permission spot. A lot of tuning to be done is what I'm saying around these other slots, but One Ring plus Sheoldred, this is an endgame we can build engines around. Ethan, thank you for inviting me to play Grixis Control. I hope this was an inspiring league, much more exciting than the last one I ran. We're up to date on current technology, and it feels good. There is hope for Grixis yet. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.